the Central Pacific built east from Sacramento. For every mile, they received more land and more money. If they could pull off building this railroad, it would be a historic achievement. But would it be worth it? The two companies faced very different
Yo.
The first task of the
Yo.
Union Pacific was to build across the vast Great Plains. And they were building more than just a railroad. They were building dozens of towns along the way. All of these towns followed the same formula. They were built on a grid. They had street names like Front, Main, Center, or First, Second, and Third. And they all had a railroad running through them. Some of these have grown into relatively big cities, but most of them are quiet and some of them completely abandoned.
That is true.
These are primitive railroads that every 20 miles or 30 miles need to load on water and coal to keep the steam engines. The engines are so inefficient, which means you need a town every 20 or 30 miles. You need a
Interesting. I would have never thought about that.
Why don't we make it into a town? Why don't we control the land and make money from every little town as we go along?
The land these railroad companies were building on
Daddios,
was given to them
while
by the government.
we're doing some
Most of
homework
them
right
were
now,
built by the Union Pacific,
I was
with a
actually
almost
able to get one of
militaristic
my,
rigidity
I
and
was able to get the
efficiency.
city working.
Led by the former Civil War general
So,
Grenville
and
Dodge, he ran the company like he
I
did the
wish Star
military.
Q was
So
up.
if anybody knew how to take relatively unskilled
All I
labor,
had to
people
do
who had
was
not built
take off
railroads
asset
before,
migration
turn
utility
them into a
and
workforce,
everything
build
is
a
fine.
railroad,
I'm able to actually
build a
get into the
railroad
game
which was good enough to get a
without
train across
whatchamacallit,
for
which,
now.
you know what, let me
Dodge was
reach
more
out to
than-
Star
Yo,
Q.
yo,
Yo,
yo. Brought
Yo,
those
yo,
things
yo,
to
yo,
the
Maya!
The Union
What is
Pacific would
good?
be
How
dealing
art
with the
thou?
long distances across the Great Plains, and the Central Pacific
How you
would be
feeling?
dealing
What's
with
going
a
on?
different problem. Before construction even began, the tools
Do
and
I have
materials
Star
to
Q?
build the railroad had to be shipped by water
I
along
don't.
the route that this railroad was hoping to replace.
Give me a
And when they
second.
did start to build, the first part of their route was the hardest.
They went straight into the mountains and stalled.
The Sierra
Is
Mountains
this
are
Star
some
Q?
of the tallest in the U.S.
Oh, because I'm on
and
streamer
they're made
mode.
up of
Fudge
granite.
me.
Almost just
I
as
gotta reach out
difficult
to
as
Star
the terrain
Q.
they would be facing
Dude,
was the weather that
I-
it brought. Each winter, the construction crews were facing
I'm doing
up to
good. I'm
40
doing
or
good.
50
Work was
feet
pretty
of
alright
snow
today. It
as they
wasn't
tried
that.
to build
Oh,
through the mountains.
we got a lot to
This
fucking
meant that
rebuild.
even in places where
So
they weren't going to have to
basically,
build
for this
tunnels,
city,
they would
Maya,
have to build snow sheds, which would be long
this
stretches
city
of
won't
wooden
work if I
structures
try
keep
to
the snow
get
from
Star
falling on
Q
the
stuff to
tracks.
work. Like if I, because
But
I'm
with all
trying to
the
use
difficulty
asset
the
migration
Sierras
utility, and it's
It
just
did
the
bring a
game is not
luxury
having
that
it.
the Union Pacific didn't
Also,
have,
let me see
and
something.
that was access to wood on
Because
the
I do
site.
have newer cities.
By
Like
1868,
that's the thing.
Union
I just need to
Pacific had
find
laid
my favorite city.
570 miles
I don't
of
have a
track,
favorite city right
and the
now.
Central Pacific had built only 154 miles.
The route that the Central Pacific
What map are you
took
building
and the
on?
Union Pacific took was probably the worst route they could have taken.
Since 1830, when the first
Also,
railroad
we're
track
drinking
was
on the
laid
Merlot.
in the U.S., the East
We
Coast had
are
become a
smoking
well-connected network
on
of passenger and
the
freight trains.
Bloom.
But a lot had
We're
happened
smoking
on
on
the
Bloom
West Coast
guava.
in that same period of time.
What is this? Guava
The country
belts?
now reached all the way
Yes,
to the
guava
Pacific
belts.
Ocean, and the gold rush had brought a lot of wealth and population to California, which was now a state. But traveling between the two of these was incredibly difficult. You could either cross thousands of miles of land, or get in a boat and go around all of South America, or go through Panama to get to California. Either way, it would take
All
a
right.
long time, and it would not be
No
easy.
leggies?
People
Okay.
started to consider
So
what the
boom, what we're
benefits
gonna
might
do
be of
is
connecting
we're
these
in
two
reconstruction
by
mode
railroad.
today.
And one man,
So we're
Asa
doing
Whitney,
homework
even started
and we're
to
reconstructing.
draw up what these routes could be and propose it to Congress. He proposed a southern, central, and a northern route, believing that it would open up trade with China. But this would require building nearly 2,000
I don't
miles
know
of
what
railroad
assets these are,
across
and
a
I ain't got
landscape
time
that
for
was
it.
basically unpopulated by U.S. citizens, had no farms, no demand for passengers.
I'm tired of
and
my
no
game
demand for
breaking.
freight.
We do need to get the
So it just
Blockbuster back.
couldn't
I
be
do want the
built
Blockbuster over here,
economically.
though.
People have been thinking about a railroad across the continent for quite
This
some
is the
time. but
taxi
there
stands.
was,
We know what we gotta do
no reason
here.
to build it, quite frankly. And what happens
Wait,
is
do we
during
not-
the Civil
we have
War,
right
there becomes
everywhere,
a
right?
reason to build it.
The Confederacy was trying
Did
to
I
work
not
its
do
way
a right
west,
everywhere for
but
this?
the Union believed that if it could build a railroad to California, it could
No,
defend it
I'm
and
about
push
my
off
heart
the
is about to
Confederate
break.
influence.
So the union decides that for
I'm gonna
reasons that have
redo
very
this.
little to
We
do with
did have
economics,
something
very little
here.
to do with any demand
That
for the
was for the
railroad of people
homie.
living
Oh
on
my
its
god.
route,
No, 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 no,
that they
no,
need that railroad
no.
to secure California. There's only one place you can build this railroad to, and it's Sacramento and San Francisco.
There was a much
Have you
easier,
ever looked
more
at the
flat route, which would go
barrier?
south
What's
around the
that
Sierra
map
Mountains.
called? New
But
Barrier Island.
that was nearing Confederate territory.
You don't want to build them a railroad which they can
do
seize
that.
and take over and use the same railroad. So you can't go that way. So the reason you're going this way is because it's really the only way left to go. And there are very limited routes that'll get you across the mountains.
We're almost there, Daddios.
In 1862, Abraham Lincoln signed a bill that solidified construction along this route. Before being president, he was actually a lawyer for the railroads in Illinois, which was the most railroad-heavy state of all of them.
Wow.
The bill was called
that
an
makes
Act
sense.
to Aid in the Construction of the Railroad.
Oh, the
and a
French
telegraph
Walls. We
line
need to get
from
the French.
Missouri River
Is that the
to
French
Pacific
Walls?
Ocean, and to
What was
secure
that
to the
initially?
government
What
the
was
use
this
of the
item?
same for postal, military, and other purposes.
Yeah, French Walls. So we have to get that one back.
This bill created the Union Pacific, which was a private railroad company named for the Union that was fighting in the Civil War.
Maya, did I ever show you
It
my
also enabled
Barrier
the same
Island
land
bill?
grants and funding mechanisms to apply to the Central Pacific, which was a private railroad company in California. And the two of these together would build
Seriously?
the Pacific
All right, hold on.
Railroad. I did find it interesting that it included a telegraph wire.
Remember what a telegraph wire is. It's a string of wire and
It's
two
a string of
wooden
wire.
poles going through the middle of nowhere. These things break constantly. You got to have a way to repair it. What better way to repair it than you have a railroad running alongside it? And the other thing is, remember, in much of this is a single track railroad. The railroads need to know where the other trains are so they're constantly not smashing into each other. You need a telegraph. So it's mutually determined that the telegraph needs a railroad and the railroad needs a telegraph.
But
now,
the idea was
the
that this
thing
was
is,
for the
I
government to
hope
use for
I
postal,
loaded up
military, and other
the save.
purposes.
I
It
hope
was
I
for
have a
defense,
save in here from
not
there.
for industry. Over the last
Oh,
few
we do.
years, I've been putting a lot more of myself online.
Let's see if this works.
And it's made me a lot more aware of what information exists in the world about me and what people can access. And that's why I've been using today's sponsor, Delete Me. You may not realize it,
Or
but there are
redact.dev.
companies out there that scrape the internet for your
I'm sorry, I'm not
information
going to do your
particularly
ad though,
wrong.
bro.
Back
Get the
to
QR
video
code if you
of the
want.
Transcontinental Railroad.
Please and thank you. Thank you, Daniel.
Building railroads was one of the most dangerous jobs you could have. And
Oh,
the
you know
route
what I
they
was
had
supposed to be
chosen
doing? I was
didn't make it any
supposed to be
easier.
sending out
In
my
the Sierra Nevadas,
socials
the work was
and
so
stuff.
dangerous
Also,
and so difficult and so
Chipengro
poorly
was
paid
good,
that Central
Daddy-o.
Pacific had a hard time finding enough workers.
All right.
So they
Maya.
make a deal with Chinese contractors who will supply them with labor gangs. The Chinese will work more cheaply,
This
and they end up working more
is
efficiently
my
than
Barrier
white workers.
Island.
Central Pacific had to build 15 tunnels through the mountains, the most difficult of which was Summit Tunnel, which was over 600
Chillin, Daddy-o,
feet of
chillin,
pure
man.
granite
How
they
art
had to
thou?
blast
How
through.
art thou?
This took them well over a year, but that was less than half
We
the
got
time
some
they
detailed
expected to
area.
do it
Oh,
in.
wow. I don't
And they
have
did
these
that by
assets
working
no more.
around the clock
Damn.
and creating
These
a
were
third
so
vertical
fire. I'm going to have to
entrance
delete
so
them.
that they could start working simultaneously from inside out.
It was dangerous. I mean, especially building through the mountains for the Chinese, the work was incredibly dangerous. Because they didn't keep close track, it's hard to give the amount, but the number of people who died, numbering into the thousands as they're building these things.
Meanwhile, the Union Pacific was building
Kinda
through
makes
a
me
lot
wanna
of
build on it
indigenous
today.
homeland, sparking a ton of conflicts with Native Americans. The railroad ended up becoming directly tied to building forts and fighting the Native Americans in these conflicts.
Yeah, we switched that up with a little roundy right
Once
over
you
there.
build the railroads, they can certainly move
Little
people and troops
tram.
much more quickly. And they enable a kind of settlement, whether it's successful or not.
I don't have any. Oh, yeah, we
very,
don't
very
have
quickly.
any
And
of
that
these
marks the
anymore.
doom of
Wow.
Most Indian peoples as being
This is
independent
back
of
in the
United States. It really
once
makes
PDX
them-
first hit the
subordinates them to
scene
United
again.
States
Like,
very, very
yeah.
quickly.
And I was
A big part
redoing
of this
all
was the
of this.
destruction of the buffalo population. Their
Yeah.
hides could now easily be shipped back to cities, and
Damn.
because the Native
But
Americans
yeah, this is
relied
my.
on them,
This is
that
actually
created
one of
even
my
more
favorite little
incentive
corners.
for the settlers
This is
to
what
destroy them.
detailing was
The
to me
railroads
back
would
then,
literally
Daddy-o.
advertise for
I
people to
thought
come
I was
ride them
cooking with
and
that
just
type of
shoot the
detailing.
buffalo from the train. But in 1868,
Let me see. Do
the
we
war
have a
had been
different
over
area
for
where I was
3
going?
years. In fact, in
Hold on.
1865,
Let
the
me
year
see.
the war ended, The Central
Nope.
Pacific had built just 35
I
miles
thought
of
this was
rail,
detailed.
and the
Like,
Union
I thought I was
Pacific
going
had built
off.
0 miles. That was less than 2% of the entire project. So you might imagine they were thinking, well, the reason
It
to build
sucks
this
that
is
I can't
over,
show
and
off
we've
any
barely
of these,
started,
but
so
yeah.
why don't we just abandon it?
Oh
right?
God, I
But during
actually
the war,
really
something else
don't
had happened,
like this build.
and now they had.
Though
a new
I'm not
reason
gonna
to build it.
lie, I think I did parks way better back
The
then.
original bill that
I was
Lincoln
better
signed
at laying
said that
out
for
the
every
parks
mile
and
one of
making
these
them more
companies would
unique.
build, they would be compensated.
Yeah.
$16,000.
So I would give
across the
myself
plains,
credit. My park stuff looks
$32,000
really
across
good.
the Great
I don't
Basin,
know, Maya.
and
I'm like,
$48,000 through the mountains.
oh my
The
gosh.
government would
I
also
don't know.
be giving these railroads a
Now,
lot
wait,
of
do I
land.
have my
They would be
other
giving them
Barrier
5
Island map?
miles on either
Hold up.
side of the railroad. And they would do it in a checkerboard
Though
pattern.
I
So the
did
federal
want to do
government
like
would
little
keep every
hills and
other
stuff.
square mile. The whole
Because I
idea
wanted
was
there to be
create a
different levels
project
to the city.
that would get outside investors to invest in these private railroad companies, which would then build the railroad and then pay back both
Oh
those
wait,
investors
I didn't even
and
show
the
you
US
this side.
government in the operation of that railroad. But this bill didn't attract any outside investors, because if they were going to be repaid with the profits from operating the railroad, there was no economic
I
incentive
thought I was
to do
doing
this.
something with that
Experienced
grass
railroad
texture.
men look at this, and they
Though
say,
I
"We can
do
build
like
railroads in
this,
these for
I'm
million
very fond of
traffic,
this.
and we can do this,
I
we can
just
do
didn't
that,
get a
or we
chance to
can
put all my
build this
trees and
road
things in there.
across
You know
the
what I'm
continent
saying?
where there's nobody
But
out
yeah, I
there."
really,
In
really enjoyed
1862
this
Act, it's
area
nothing
here.
built. That's why there's no construction taking place. You know, it's not going to really start till 1864, 65.
And then
They
my
have to
industrial
modify
stuff was
the
alright.
act. And
It was
what they do
alright.
is they sweeten things up.
So,
Railroad
let me see
companies
here.
would now get 10 miles of land on either side of the railroad. This all combined meant that the government was giving these railroads the equivalent amount of land as Indiana, an entire US state. This was theirs to develop and to sell. But the real change was in the financial half. It changed how
told
the
us.
money would flow. It basically prioritized the
let's see here.
investors
What
in
else do
front
we
of the US
have?
government. It said that if the railroad companies can't
Oh my
repay
God,
these
if-
investors, they would have first
If this
claim to
worked,
the
I'm
land
not,
and
yo,
assets
I'm scared
of the
if I
companies,
clicked. Wait,
and the
this would be
US
the best time
would
to
have
click
make
it.
up the rest.
So the government is giving land and capital to the railroads
Hold
before
on.
they have much of a railroad.
There's another
And that's one of the
Britannia that
things
I
this is
have.
sort of bonanza for fraud.
And now investors were interested. There's a lot going on with
It wasn't
bonds
Liberty
and
centric,
subsidies
though I am
and
very fond of
shareholders and
this
land
bill.
grants, but basically, this is what happened. This new arrangement opened the window to separate
Hold
the
on.
construction
Come
and
on.
operation of the railroad. So the railroad companies asked themselves, what if a construction
Sorry,
company
had to
was
yawn.
charging us a ton of money and they got paid, and then
wasn't
we were
this
left
one,
with the
right?
debt?
No.
And what if we
Was it just say-
secretly
oh, it
owned
was
that
just say
construction
that.
company?
Oh
There
my
wasn't going
God,
to be
Maya.
money in running the
Let me show you
railroad,
something cool.
but there was
If
gonna
it
be a
if it
lot of
ends up
money
loading,
in building it.
there's a
So the
map
risk
called
falls on the
Barrier
people of the
Island
United States.
Remixed or
Whatever
Redone or
profits
something
come
of
out
that
it,
sort.
That's going to go
It's
to
in
the
like
people who run the railroad.
upgraded Barrier.
Central
Oh, it
Pacific
crashed.
was owned by 4 businessmen in Sacramento. They were known as the Big
Yeah.
Four, and they started a construction company called the Contract and Finance Company.
That's
And Union Pacific created a construction company called Credit Mobilier of America. And I'm not going to say it with a French accent because it was literally a ripoff of a French company that was a financing company in France for French railroads. But remember this one, Credit Mobilier of America. This was obviously going to impact the way they would build it. It made it easier to justify taking
All right,
a
my
more
bad, y'all.
meandering
We're gonna
route.
reload.
Right out of
I do
Omaha,
want to
the
see if I can get into
Oxbow
one
route,
more
for
city
example, was 9
before I do
miles
anything
longer
else.
than the original plan. And it likely earned the Union Pacific at least $150,000 extra in federal subsidies.
The companies managed to lose money for a long time, but the people running them made money. So this is the trick of doing that. And these are the guys who first invented that trick.
And when the money
Okay,
started
go
flowing,
off.
construction took off in both the East and the West, even if the Central Pacific had a slower start.
So the Union Pacific can advance fairly rapidly across the plains. They are just going to be stuck in the mountains. And what's your reward for being stuck in the mountains?
What is your reward?
The flat basin that they could now build through was a reward in the sense that it was easier for construction, but it wasn't the land that they wanted. They already got what they wanted. They would now control California. So at this point, the
Ooh,
race
give me
really
some
just
history.
became out of obligation because it's what they had contracted.
FashionForty!
Yeah! Whoa!
The unhinged wolf just redeemed Moose's 40
Daddy-o,
call.
what's good? What's good?
In
How
April
art
of
thou? How art thou?
1869, Central Pacific
Wolf,
set a record by laying
do you
over
have
2
direct
miles
contact
of track
to
in a
Starkview?
single day. That's a record that still stands and
Doing good,
they
Daddy-o.
always
I'm
will.
chilling, man. I'm
None of
chilling.
this is going to be quality rail.
So
You're
on
racing for the
the
money.
build,
You're
my
racing
Reddit
for
city
quality
that
rail.
I've been playing,
and when the two companies
dude,
reached
I
each other,
can't
they were
load
more
into that
focused
city
on
with asset
getting
migration
land and
utility
mileage
on,
than they were about
and I have to
finishing the
delete
race or
all
beating
of
each other. And they
my
began to prepare the route
modular
to
blocks and
grade
services.
directly past
And
each
I
other
don't
for
know.
over
And I
200
every
miles.
time I take
Each
that
of them is
mod
trying to
off,
get as
I'm
much
good.
of
Every
this
time I
route-
have that mod
most of
on,
the
I'm
routes
not
more-
good.
more than the
And it's
last
only
route,
for
as they
that
can to help
save.
pay for what they've done.
Like
They reached
for
the
Brooklyn,
decision
it works
later. They both
perfectly.
built
So
past
I'm
each
good.
other,
So all
and
of
then they
my
go back and
assets
say, "Okay,
from the
now
old
Toyota's gonna
modular
really
blocks
meet."
transferred over. But for the Reddit city, it just didn't transfer, dude. I don't know why.
On May 10th, 1869, the trains from each company met each other along the track. A ceremony
Did
was
they?
held, and
Aw.
Leland Stanford of the Big Four hammered a symbolic golden spike. The railroad they had just completed coincidentally ran almost exactly 1,776 miles to connect the country.
That's
When the golden
crazy.
spike was struck,
Unironically,
it was
is it?
rigged up so that it triggered a telegraph. It sent
What?
a message to both coasts along the wire that said, "Done."
Oh, that's so
The
dope.
photographer Andrew Russell
Oh, yeah,
snapped
do
the
your thing,
shutter
dude.
on his camera and captured one of the most iconic photographs in American history.
Daddy-os,
East
honestly,
meets
man,
West.
I do want to fix this city.
In
I do want it to
2003,
work.
Life magazine included this photo in its edition, 100 Photographs That Changed the World.
There's a lot of dignitaries from Salt Lake City, railroad dignitaries, who are all there
Okay.
with the two engines touching, celebrating the union. And the pictures are revealing by who's not in them.
Go
The
Wolf.
people who finish the line, who bring it so that the line can be brought together,
Are
gonna
not
be
there.
Chinese workers. But if you look at those pictures, most of them have no Chinese in them.
That
There
is
is no
true.
picture showing you are in the middle of nowhere. There is nothing else out here. Back up those engines, pull that crowd back, and where are we? We are in the middle of the desert.
Wow. That was mad sad.
Right
Oh,
now,
wow.
I'm
He got
walking
money to
on
travel
the
now.
exact spot
That's so
that
fire.
the Transcontinental Railroad was completed, and it is in the middle of nowhere.
Building that railroad as badly as it was built, and as little reason there was for building it at the time they did, is still a remarkable achievement.
Damn.
I came all the way out here to see the reenactment of the two trains meeting right here. And,
There's a reenactment?
I basically got here just in time for them to put them away. So I barely got to see them. The next year, this exchange point was actually
Wait,
moved
I'm
to
so
Ogden, Utah,
confused.
which is my hometown. Shout out Ogden.
People just
Oh,
think
oh,
it's okay,
wow.
you drive the Golden Spike, it's done, on to other things. It's not done. It's really just beginning.
With a similar financial model, the railroad business was booming. 2 more transcontinental railroads were underway, and more building was happening faster and faster. Credit Mobilier charged $94 million.
All right, we got to load up,
to the
Daddy-os.
Union Pacific
Let's
for
just fix
construction.
the city.
The contract and
Honestly,
finance company
I do want to
charged
try to
Central
load up
Pacific
one more build.
$47.5
Wolf.
million.
If Wolf comes
Bringing
back,
the
he'll
grand
probably
total
see it.
of the Pacific Railroad
But
to
honestly, I think I need that build in my
$141.5
life.
million. The
And
equivalent
if
of
I'm
about
able to get
$3.5
that
billion
fucking
in
build,
today's
it is a
dollars.
And
fucking
as Henry
wrap.
Dodge described the thing, he said,
I will never
"What was
break
built
it
is two
again. I
streaks of
promise you,
rust
Daddy-os.
reaching
I
across
promise
the
you.
continent." And that's
We will never
that's
break it again.
really what it was. You had to start rebuilding it almost as quickly as you built it. So what you built is a railroad which is utterly useless to you within about
That's
10
fucked up.
years.
Not only did the railroad have to be rebuilt and rerouted and regraded in many places, but it
Okay.
also wouldn't be in large demand for decades. This is goods going to and from California. And this even includes traffic from 2 other transcontinental railroads to California, which were completed both in 1883. And of course, the railroad companies knew this from the start. That's why Credit Mobilier charged $44 million more than the actual cost to build it. And the
That's
contract
so
and
fucking
finance
garbage.
company
Why would they
charged
do that?
$11.5 million more, which suddenly doesn't seem so bad in comparison until you factor in the $54 million in stocks that Central Pacific gave to the credit and finance company. During this big railroad boom, it became public knowledge that Credit Mobilier was not only taking all of this money, but that it was distributing stocks to congressmen for favorable treatment. And it wasn't
Damn, the
just lobbyists
bribery
that were
was
giving away
bribing.
these stocks.
Okay,
One of
base.
the main guys doing it was a congressman himself, who also helped control the company Credit Mobilier. And the U.S., which, just as a quick reminder, means us, the taxpayers, had to make up
Let me
the
see
difference.
one thing. I want to try to
Nobody in the
load
Credit
one more
Mobilier
city.
scandal was
Just one
ever
more city,
prosecuted.
Darius.
And the big four from Central Pacific got fabulously wealthy and became huge railroad magnates, including Leland Stanford, who went on to create Stanford University.
Oh,
And
well,
the year
hey,
after
hey,
this was
hey,
discovered,
hey, hey,
the
hey,
railroad
hey,
bubble
hey,
popped
hey.
and triggered a 5-year financial depression.
They repeatedly go
That's
bankrupt
an
into the
old bill.
1890s,
Do I not have
throwing the whole entire country into a depression, not once, not
Okay.
twice, but 3 times.
Darius,
the
let's see what
depressions
happens.
in the 19th
Brace
century
yourself.
were called railroad depressions because the railroads go under and take down everything with them.
You are my friend. Whoa.
These huge railroad magnates were hated by the public. There's cartoon after
That's good.
cartoon of how terrible they were and how they were just sucking money out of the rest of the country.
They're the villains. They're hated. You know, they're the octopus.
Damn, they're the octopus?
And how much were they really needed?
Many parts of the West which did not have transcontinental railroads or subsidized railroads settled perfectly fine with the usual pattern of building railroads as needed as settlement proceeds. The transcontinentals helped, but they weren't necessarily required for doing that. All of these railroads end up being failures, and then many of the things they did.
Let's see, yo, if we can load in, I'm gonna be so fucking hyped.
And that's the kind of
but I ain't gonna lie, it is taking its sweet ass time.
And you guys might find it interesting that the largest data center in the world is currently being proposed right next to Promontory Point. Symbolic? I hope this isn't too much of a downer. I genuinely had so much fun working on this video. This is such a fascinating story that touches so many different parts of American history.
This is
that I really could have worked on this for like months and months and months, but I've got to get something out, right? And talking to Richard was so fun. He's incredible. He has a book that I highly recommend you pick up. It's going to be linked in my description, Railroaded. It's about kind of what happens. It kind of picks up where we left off. So I recommend picking that up. And I think I'm going to put the long version of my interview with him on Patreon, which is also linked below if you want to support me there. But thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe to this channel. If you liked this, like this video, share it with friends and family. It helps me a lot.
Oh, damn, Wolf is probably not there. Wolf would not believe.
I'm really excited to show you guys that is happening this summer.
Wolf!
And just know a lot of good stuff's coming. Okay, thanks for watching. See you another one super soon.
What the fuck? Oh, it crashed. Ha! Ha! Yo. Daddy-O's. That one deserved a glass of wine. Yo. Alright. Wolf. Hear me out, Wolf. Hear me out, Wolf. Hear me out. I got one more idea. One more idea. There's a reason why there were so many saves in there. You may not like it because I'm going to request your help again. Sorry, the wine was so delicioso. If I am, also for anybody viewing, thank y'all so much. My bad. We are just testing out old saves. I'm supposed to be building, and I'm not. So what I'm thinking, there's an older save that I think is stable enough. What if hear me out, because it ain't going, we was building a lot. But besides the port area that Wolf was building, and then the mining area that Wolf started, and then I was supposed to detail, I think there was no other major builds happening on that city. Wolf, that is without fucking question. That is Wolf. I don't even want to sip my wine now, because I will feel that if I sip my wine, I am encouraging that. Like, dude, you're not just a better builder. You're like 1,000-fold better, bro. Then put that on point where you also detail. Daddy-o. All right, Daddy-o, you got it. Like, I don't think people understand how much a better builder I am thanks to you.
The coolest is undoubtedly the metro. The system moves well over 1 million people every day.
It does?
Providing a critical way to get around this
well, they need 8 million more.
Like
no,
things,
actually, don't we do 10 million a day in New York City?
Just to get started, the return of the Olympics to make sure things got done in time, and a ton of work since then to try and keep the system growing.
Athens will get better. The thing is, it will get how much better will it get? Because if you just do random stuff, obviously you can still improve life.
Facts that, Daddy-o.
To a coherent plan.
This roller coaster is why Athens is the second of 6 European cities I'm covering to learn how to build better transit.
So in this
Who
video,
are you?
we'll
Am
see
I
how a
sub
city
to you?
can build an impressive system extremely quickly, why it's so hard to keep going, and what other places
Oh, I am
can
sub
learn
to you.
about just getting things done.
Oh, you just haven't been making videos, motherfucker.
Before getting to the video, we have to acknowledge that it's a tough time for anything.
That train
related to
station looked
Greece,
familiar.
with the trials for the 2023 Tempe tragedy set to last for quite a while. This video focuses on the Athens metro specifically, and is in no way intended to disrespect that tragedy. But I know everything's connected, especially with topics like policy and governance, so I apologize in advance if there's a bit of overlap. It's definitely not my intention to conflate both stories. With that, let's get started with the metro.
Sorry,
Let's pick up in the late 1970s, when Athens was making good progress on a metro system.
They were? That was a
Two
war
major
truck
studies had
just
been
now.
completed,
What the fuck
and
was
the government
that?
was taking concrete steps after the fall of the military junta earlier that decade.
And that metro was necessary because car ownership had quadrupled during the 60s, while public transport trips were in the process of plummeting from close to 1 billion passengers in
Damn, that's how they were doing
to a
their
bit over half
buses?
of that by the 1980s. Athens did already have what's known as Line 1 today, which opened in 1869 and was electrified in 1904. But it was painfully inadequate on its
1869?
own, even with a tangle of buses trying to support it, so it was very much time for a big upgrade.
Okay.
That's the wrong number.
Let's
In
go!
1981, a new government was elected and promptly suspended the metro.
We don't have to get into the ideology, but to grossly oversimplify,
Damn,
this is part
Athens
of a
looks
wider
beautiful.
push to relocate funds away from Athens in support of spatial redistribution.
And let me warn you, this story is a roller coaster for at least the next 5 minutes.
It
All
took
right,
until
we locking in.
1985 for the metro to make its way back onto the political agenda, and by that time, something very important had happened.
What happened? Oh.
Joining the European Union suddenly meant access to a ton of money, and Greece went absolutely crazy with infrastructure.
The central government prepared a plan for a series of mega projects, including the Rio Interior Bridge, the
Beautiful.
Thessaloniki Metro, and of course, the Athens Metro. Also, Greece went crazy on much more than just infrastructure.
At that time, I think we had the most Porsche Cayennes per capita in Europe. So we had a lot of money, coming in.
And I was lucky enough to meet up with Adam, who knows a lot about urbanism in Athens and Greece.
I've been writing a newsletter about cities and urbanism for the last 5 years in Greece.
He's also active with mobility startups and is now starting a venture builder right here in Athens.
This space is a new community hub for teams that are working on urban progress and urban innovation.
This is super cool stuff.
All right, Daddios, I think I fucked the game. We just crashed yet again. Oh God, come on, let us. I'm sorry. Take the bad juju off.
also weren't familiar with these new processes.
The result was that nobody really knew what the rules were, which was one of the many reasons why that EU money ended up not being used very effectively.
It also
So in the
ended up
early
fucking them in the
1990s,
long
the
run,
government,
and that's why they
together
went
with the European
bankrupt.
Commission decided to entirely overhaul the way infrastructure would be managed in Greece.
This was done by creating two new types of government agencies. The first type would
What is
operate
the first
directly
type?
under the Ministry of Planning, with each individual agency focused on a specific type of infrastructure, like road arterials. The second type would focus on individual projects. And be given
Greece
more freedom
actually
to operate
follows
under
the
private
American
sector rules.
That second type of
roadway.
agency included Attico Metro.
Oh my
responsible
God,
for
it's not
delivering
backwards.
Athens Metro
Let's
Base
go,
Project,
Greece.
or AMB.
Let's go.
AMB was the
Wait,
spiritual
well, Athens is
culmination
in
of
Greece,
a
right?
million
Yeah, it
previous
is. Yeah, let's
plans,
go.
and featured two new
Let's
lines
fucking
to complement the
go.
existing Line 1. A whopping
One of the
90%
oldest cities
funding would
ever.
come
Let's
from the
go.
EU, either through direct grants or loans. from
Driving on the
European
right side of the
Investment
road.
Bank.
Let's
And Attico Metro
go.
would deploy this treasure chest in a traditional design-build manner, which meant finding an international consortium to deliver a fully functional system in a turnkey contract. Kind of like how the MTR was originally supposed to happen. Attico Metro would then take this system and operate it themselves or with another partner. The hope was that they could begin
that's
to
a
acquire
beautiful.
knowledge and experience to inform
Take these
subsequent
ideas,
expansions,
daddy-os.
both within and beyond Athens, without necessarily needing to repeat the same design-build model. Basically, keeping expertise in-house.
Greece follows
which
the
really
European
does seem
road
to come up
system,
in every
right-hand
single video
drive.
that I make. But remember when I said that this would be a roller coaster?
No,
In
Wolf,
1991,
Wolf,
objections
Wolf.
began
I
to
can
be raised in
rewind.
Parliament about
Look,
project
Wolf. You want me to
management and
rewind?
transparency. In
Isn't
1993,
Athens?
disagreements
Athens is
between the
look.
consortium and Attico Metro
That's the
stuck
right
around
way.
for
Is
over
it?
a
Wait,
year
wait. Am I
as new
bugging?
terms were hashed out
Are
with a
those
bit
just
more
fuck
money.
lanes? So
Major
they only
tunnel collapse
no.
occurred in
They're
1994,
driving the right way,
bringing in
Wolf.
proper equipment used by
That's the way
contractors
Americans
and
drive.
proper oversight from Attico Metro.
That same year, the budget increased again, and objections in Parliament came with it.
Everywhere
Then
else
in
drive on the. They
1997,
drive the other
national
side.
government was forced to reroute Line 3 after it was found that the Kerameikos Cemetery would be disturbed. This was an incredibly important site since around 1200 BC, and was
Really?
apparently situated in the most beautiful suburb of ancient Athens.
Anywhere you dig in Athens, you find something. So
Yo,
you have to work
dude,
together.
how much
Some
will it
academics
be
later
to
say
like
that with
move to
hindsight,
Athens and live there?
organizations responsible
Like,
for
I can
delivering the
legitimately
project
say I'm
lacked
living in the
capacity
city that's
or
been here for
cooperation
millennia.
mentality, even with seemingly
Daddy-os.
money from the European Union.
Here I go,
And to
being
explain this lack of capacity, I want to bring back the idea of multi-level
like,
governance
yeah,
that
Brooklyn,
we
in the
talked
area
about
I'm
in the
from in
video.
Brooklyn,
It was
I
the
can
only
go
thing that I
back
learned
all the
last
way to
semester.
fucking
Multi-level
17
governance
something,
combines a vertical
1680
component
something.
comprised of
You,
different
but
administration levels,
daddy-os.
all the way through to the
Motherfucking
supranational
Athens
EU
could say,
level,
hey,
with a
we were
horizontal
here when
component
democracy
across the
happened,
public, private,
bitch.
and civil sectors. And I think that MLG is a helpful framework for analyzing this lack of capacity, because we can systematically
Oh,
reveal which
wait, no,
relationships
wait,
were weak
wait,
for
wait,
AMB
wait.
and
The
how they
French
ended up
drove
compromising
on.
the whole
Are
project.
you
So
sure?
starting with the vertical axis, the
I
AMB
could have sworn the
struggled to
French
align
was
goals
also
between
on the other
levels of
side.
government.
First of all, we have like
Hold
these
on,
three
let me,
layers
Wolf,
of,
give me a second.
government.
Give me a second.
And
Hold up.
In Athens, let's
Go
say,
to Google
we have more than
Photos.
30 municipalities, so it's
You
very,
may be
very
right, but
fragmented.
This
I
means
need
that in
this real quick.
reality, a lot of
Type in
decision-making
Paris.
power filters upwards, with the Greek state making decisions that might not
Patty.
fully reflect what's happening on the ground in
I was
cities.
doing
And
drugs.
all of these
No,
layers of
not
translation
that.
from
No,
the
that was
bottom
a-
up, from the
no,
city
that was
to
a
get
wine
the problems
bar.
to the state. So this
Ooh,
creates
that's
a
a
lot
nice
of
picture of me.
misalignment,
Oh
a
my
lot
God,
of
yeah, I am
wasted
sexy. Yes,
time,
yes, yes.
resources. So there is not a coherent strategy. There is
Yes,
not
yes.
one
Look at that
authority that
outfit.
can
Yes, look at
make
them
out a plan and they can
there.
decide
I
and
can't
execute
say
on
the
it.
company
This
name
vertical
now.
coordination gets even spicier with the
Wolf,
EU,
you're
because
right.
their
Wait,
goals
wait,
debatably
wait,
didn't
Wolf.
align well with Greece's local needs and capabilities.
Wait, Wolf, I'll
There was
open it up even
considerable
more.
pressure
Wait,
to
Wolf.
absorb EU money,
Wolf,
and
I
one of the
didn't.
quickest
Yo,
ways
you're
to
so
absorb
right,
money
Wolf.
is to
Wait,
spend a little
Wolf.
bit on
I'm
infrastructure,
apologizing.
instead of focusing on less flashy and slower efforts like institutional reform. That probably would have helped out in the
Yes,
long run.
yes, you can see that.
It wasn't great either.
We'll focus on the
You
local
can look at the
level, where
license
planning
plate.
processes
I
have
am
to
in
contend
France.
with all
I am in
kinds of
Paris.
stakeholders pulling in
You're
opposite
right.
directions.
You're so
The result
right.
was usually a
You're
shopping
right.
list
My
of
bad. My bad.
incoherent projects driven by political bargaining instead of a coherent strategy. Now, it wasn't like the city was falling
My
apart,
bad, Daddy.
since
Yo,
they at
can
least
we
had
load
Line 1
game?
and
Like,
a bunch of
dude.
buses.
But
I've
progress
actually,
hasn't
I've
been
been
made by
bullshitting.
everyone
I'm trying to
knew
let the
pace
game
that was
load.
needed to
Like,
solve these big
load,
urban
motherfucker,
problems.
load.
Something would have to change. Again, luckily for Athens, something did change.
The city will have the honor to organize the Olympic Games of the year 2004 is Athens.
All of a sudden, the AMB was no longer a project that could take as long as needed. It had to be completed in time for the 2004
Let's
Olympics.
go. We're
But the
not
Olympics
70.
usually also brings a ton of new
That's a
infrastructure
beautiful
requirements
train.
for host cities. And for Athens, this meant 6 colossal projects.
There was a new airport, then over
Okay.
120 kilometers of new roads, significant
Okay.
upgrades to Metro Line 1, extensions to
Okay.
Metro Lines 2 and 3, which weren't
Okay.
even completed yet as part of the AMB, a new suburban rail line to reach that new airport, and
All
finally
right.
a brand new tramway to connect many of the Olympic venues along the coast.
It was pretty much
Okay.
an impossible task. But as you can probably guess
That's
from the title of this
interesting.
video,
Honestly,
they somehow
maybe we
figured
look
it
at
out.
Athens, but make it American.
And I think that there are 3 aspects to this.
The first thing was that, for once, there was an actual deadline. There's plenty
All
of
right, we
examples
like
of
that.
cities
Yeah,
completing
'cause, like,
infrastructure
motherfuckers,
when they
you need this here.
absolutely have to, like Vancouver's Canada line.
The historic and
All right.
deep relationship between Athens and the Olympics added
Yes.
another layer of pressure.
It did.
And 2004
Shut.
was extremely excited to host.
The missus is asleep. I just woke her up. I'm so sorry. Shock. You're gonna get me in trouble, but shock. Happy fucking 6-month mod anniversary, Daddios. First of all, shock. Thank you again for the FashionForty logo. Thank you again for the Daddio emo. Thank you again for the babes. More wine, please. Daddio. Thank you for everything you do. We appreciate you. Also, I don't know where am I at on. It's some regulars. Everybody should know each other, but this is for the YouTubes and
for a country trying to prove that it had made it.
So there
YouTube.
was true pressure at multiple scales, from the global all the way down to the
Y'all
local,
need to love the
that bumped
homie
up this
Shock,
deadline
okay?
and made sure that it got
Y'all
front and
need
center
to love the
on
homie Shock.
agenda. Contrast this to something like the Eglinton LRT in Toronto, which had a deadline on paper, but no real pressure to get it done on time.
That is true.
And this pressure forced something else into existence, a significant institutional shakeup that
Yo,
turbocharged
yo, yo, yo.
government's ability
Yo,
to
yo, yo, yo,
actually
yo,
deliver
yo, yo,
The
yo.
most influential event was debatably the establishment of the ATHOC, or the Olympic Organizing Committee, typically set up by host cities. This itself is
Yo, I didn't know they had mod anniversaries either.
across existing silos.
Alright, Daddios,
Execute
we are
tasks like
crashing
land use
so
and transport
fucking hard
planning
right
in a
now.
coordinated way,
I
or
don't
ensure
know
that
what
bus and
just
metro
happened with
services
this last
complement
crash.
each other,
Babes,
things like
more
food,
wine,
and smart
please.
But what really made this work
Daddios,
was the
I don't know
emergency
what is going
lawful
on.
Olympic works passed in 1999,
Something's
supported by
happening.
subsequent updates
I
to
think
land
that playset
expropriation
is
codes
just
in
done.
2001.
Let
This
me
gave
go to a
public
different
authorities
playset.
significantly increased power to carry
And you
out
know
tasks
what?
for the games.
You know
One
what?
clear
Activate
example of
this.
was how
Yes.
each local area with Olympic projects could create unified special plans that bundled together all
What
the
is special
necessary planning,
plans?
environmental,
Oh,
and
plans.
construction
My bad.
approvals. These plans were then ratified by presidential decree, cutting straight through established processes and significantly accelerating construction timelines.
I think
All that
that's
was
hella
left was
cute
to
though
find
that
a
they
way
have
to
the
pay
mod
for all of
anniversaries
this.
though.
And that was almost the easiest part.
The funding pipeline
Alright,
between
dude,
the
I
European
actually want to
Union
get
and
building.
Greece was
I
already
will
well
fucking play
established by this
vanilla.
point, thanks to ample
Against
experience
whatever
with
the fuck
community
I.
support
If
frameworks
we
that
play
contributed
vanilla,
to
we got to
many
do the
parts of
bus.
Greek
We're
economy.
doing
The
buses.
European
I don't give a
Investment
fuck.
Bank
We're
even
doing
signed up on a
buses.
credit line of 1.5 billion euros for Olympic-related infrastructure. The result of these 3 pillars was that Athens created huge
Shockbot,
amounts of
do not
infrastructure
give me an
delivery
answer.
capacity
I
in an
don't want
extremely
to.
short
Yeah,
period of
you
time.
better.
So armed with this
Shockbot,
newfound
don't fall
motivation
for
and
it.
ability, Athens ripped ahead with construction.
Don't fall for it. A lot of your processing power is coming from here. Okay.
And yes, the AMB
It's really
was
not.
scheduled
It's
for
coming from a
completion
third
in the
world
early
country.
2000s anyway.
Shockbot,
But
I
remember
want you to
it was
know
looking very
that you're
unlikely
stealing
this would actually
electricity.
be done on time. The Olympics made
Shock,
sure that
I'm
it
sorry
did,
to break
and
it to
many
you.
researchers agree that it probably wouldn't have otherwise.
Then the metro
Shockbot gets
extensions,
a lot of his
the
energy
airport, and the entirely new
from
tramway
like
were
Manila
also
or
completed
someplace
in
like
time.
that.
And let me tell you how impressively last minute this was.
The tramway opened just 3.5 weeks before the games. The Line
That's
3
insane.
extension to the airport, debatably the most important part of this whole expansion,
Yes.
opened exactly 2 weeks before the games. And the final extension of Line 2 was completed just 4 days before the opening ceremony.
Well, guess what? Did they do it before it
Somehow,
needed to be done?
Athens had
Yeah.
done it, and the games
Let's
were,
go.
at least in the immediate term, really a dream come true.
No way, Shockbot, be nice. Shockbot, be Nice to ya,
By the
Oyaji.
time the dust had settled, it was obvious that Athens had gained a substantial amount of new transportation infrastructure. But what was less obvious was the actual impact of that infrastructure.
The surface level metrics actually weren't that bad.
Ouch.
Some estimated that in the year term, public transit ridership had increased
Yo, Maya.
13%.
Maya. Shockbot, no, you're not
all
slick, bro.
passenger trips by 2011.
Shockbot is
Concerts
on
apparently
you
dropped
right
some
now.
10 to 15% since
Shockbot
the
knows the
If you
shenanigans.
ask anyone who lives in Athens, it sure doesn't
Yo,
feel that way.
Daddios, I'm
It's,
scared that we're not gonna load this
you know,
game right now.
clogged. The most important
Honestly,
number
I
to
can
keep in
talk
mind
for the
all
next
of our
4 to 5
discussions
hours.
is that we
And
have
honestly, we
8
could
to
watch
9
Biffa build
cars
this new
per 10
city.
Athenians,
Like
which
Biffa,
is
I'm a
an
small
amazing
fry. Like, you know, Biffa
outlier.
won't notice.
Paris
I'll
is around
apologize.
3.5, I believe. Berlin 3. It's crazy
Alright,
how
and
many
this
cars
is
we have.
By 2019, traffic congestion resembled pre-financial crisis levels,
Babes,
and while
please
the
be-
usage
babes.
of private cars then took
Babes,
a
I can
huge
pour
hit
it,
during
I can pour it.
COVID,
Please,
it quickly
just give it to me.
rebounded to the
Give
point
me-
where
give me
authorities
the
in
glass.
2021 had to reinstate
the glass.
plate-based
You were
restrictions to
wrong.
try and control
I'm
traffic
letting
in the
you know
city
that.
center. And maybe this is
Honestly?
because traffic in Athens runs deeper than just providing transit.
One angle of it is
There you
that
go, babe.
the car has been tied with material success and professional success. So
Yes,
having
yes,
your
yes.
car
Isn't that
is,
everywhere in
a
fucking
sign
society?
that you can be an independent adult, and having an expensive car can be a sign that you're successful, independent.
Shock, how much
adult.
are
I
how
think
much
over the last
is your
10,
bill
15
per
years,
month, bro?
Maybe in the younger, generations, this has started to shift, but it's still relevant that you see expensive SUVs in the center of Athens, just parking them on the pavement because they feel that's the kind
Yo,
of
Shockbot,
big
you're
space.
not on
Another
it
angle
today.
is
What's
that
going on?
because we grow,
Shock,
we
did you
grow up in
nerf
environments
Shockbot?
that walking is not really encouraged. So this idea that I will use the car to get
Wait, so
anywhere
how is the
embedded in
city
us
of
from a very young
Athens
age,
where
and
walking
then
is not
you can't really shake
encouraged?
that off,
So y'all just
without
paved
going
over your
for
old cobblestones, you
maybe
stupid
moving
fucks?
to Amsterdam or moving to Copenhagen. If you don't do that, you can't really change that bias.
So the real impact of these Olympic transit investments is, like most things, mixed. They haven't fixed congestion in Athens, but it's surely helped manage some of it. So we've reached the next question of this story. Why is it so difficult to maintain progress? And it's not really that surprising if we go through the same 3 reasons that helped Athens deliver all of this so quickly in the first place.
That
Without
is a nice
deadline,
little train
pressure
car.
to construct these projects essentially evaporated after the games. This was especially true regarding high
Wait, Shockbot, how do you restart it?
National government, even if the
Maya,
residents of
that
Athens
is an
still have the
absolute
transportation
fucking
improvements.
fact.
And without
That is an
alignment at
absolute
higher
fact.
levels, the institutional features that enabled such
Okay,
massive
we
delivery
finally got.
capacity
All right.
also began to erode.
What city
Delivery
can we
institutions
open
and
right now? I don't
processes
think I can
reverted to
open
being
certain
heavily
cities with this
politicized,
playset.
with officials back to fighting over competing goals in order to protect personal legacies. On a practical level, there was also no longer any need for the ATHOC.
Do we
but as it
start
was
a new
disbanded,
city?
No unified body was created in its place to maintain the progress
don't
that
think
it
we
made.
started a
There
new
was
city.
a reshuffling in 2011 to streamline
I
operations.
can. Oh,
under
we
a
can do
single
new.
company.
We can
And
do
while this is
Newmarket
managed to produce
actually.
cost savings, it wasn't intended to fundamentally change much else.
So we have more
Nah,
stations
Maya, go
with the same
off.
amount of
Yes.
30 years ago, and with more
Sorry,
people.
not
Obviously,
fucking sorry. Don't
the
make me.
experience
Don't
as a
make me play that
passenger
song.
really,
That's
really
one of my favorite
deteriorates.
songs.
Even if the metro is
I'm
not
a
there,
Bryson.
even if you have this
Maya,
connection
I'm
to
light
where
skinned.
you want to go, the actual experience.
I was
really
wild
varies.
back in the day.
Waiting times are longer.
And back in the
the
day is
noise,
like
the
only a
heat.
couple years ago.
Now we don't have AC in the metro lines 2 or 3 for the last 3 years, and it's not going to be working for another 2 or 3 summers. In
Wait,
Athens,
y'all
right? The
motherfuckers
most
don't got
heat,
AC?
sensitive city in Europe. So we absorbed a lot of money to put the infrastructure in place, but the actual maintenance and optimization capacity was never there, either from a financial perspective or from a mindset perspective. Buses as well,
Interesting.
we always can unlock some EU money to buy new buses, but we don't have drivers. We don't have like this holistic approach on how we can make it work.
Sorry,
There's also a very interesting parallel story here about whether the things Athens built for the Olympics, like the metro extensions, were designed for locals or tourists.
So the densest
Interesting.
areas in Athens.
Oh, that
cities
makes
were
so
actually
much fucking
covered by the
sense.
metro. It was mostly optimized to cover suburbs and the developments of the time with the center.
Yeah.
For example, now you can go from the airport to the port, which you couldn't do. And obviously this is very important for an economy based on tourism. You cover a lot of the key, let's say, destination, but it's still not focused on the use cases of the local resident.
We won't get too much
That
into
is
that, but
I can see
planning is
that.
political, and every decision has consequences.
Then again, nothing could have prepared any transit agency for what
All
happened
right.
next.
So let me see. What cities do we have right now?
And the government reportedly needs as much as $35 billion in loans to
Nope.
pay its bills.
Now,
We're
I'm
not doing
really
that.
not qualified to explain what happened here, but to grossly oversimplify things again, the Greek economy
This one
basically
works for this
self-combusted
city.
in 2009. There were high-profile bailouts, deeply unpopular austerity measures, and of course, not much
This
money was
one
left
works
over
for
to play
this
City
one.
Skylines. This didn't last forever. After all, lines 2 and 3 were extended, and Greece eventually
Oh,
pulled out
Newmarket,
with the worst
yes.
of the crisis. But the era of seemingly free-flowing
All right,
EU
let's go
money
here.
was undoubtedly a thing of the past.
Still, I'd argue that the games has had a lasting positive impact on the
What is the
Athens
positive
metro
impact?
and its public transportation in general.
Could we do a lot more with it? Yes. But yeah, all in all, obviously without the Olympics and this...
That's beautiful. I ain't gonna lie. That's a
down
beautiful
there,
ass bridge.
I don't really want to think about the transport situation today because the metro at least is moving.
Yo, what if the Olympic Games colluded with the European Union by adding in Athens, Greece, obviously,
The Olympics were
and
definitely
they
an
said,
exception,
"Oh, we'll
where
make the
Athens
Olympics there so
imported
that they can
and
get
compressed
all
a
of these
ton of
projects,
capacity
use this
creation
money,
into a
use
single
this
decade.
money
So
alone,
it's
and
only
we
natural
reap the
that things have
profits."
slowed down since then. It might just be that too much happened too quickly for this to ever be sustainable.
I want to add
What do you
that
mean?
the metro and
Elaborate.
public transport here, in my opinion, really is quite
We gotta
decent.
make this more of
It
a
definitely
beach.
deserves more care and attention, but I know that there
This
are
is
plenty
looking
of cities out there
okay.
that would love to have this kind of infrastructure.
This
But the
farm is
building
looking
blocks are there for
okay.
continued
All right, we're
improvement,
looking alright.
evidenced by extensions
This
that
city
are
is not
happening
that
slowly
bad.
but
I'm
surely.
not mad
We
at
also have to
this.
remember that the
This
spatial
was
form of
actually
Athens
done by
will
Bearded
always make it
Brune.
tough to serve with public
I am one of the
transport.
only
city is very
creators
sprawled
or
out, with
people
fairly
on the
uniform
internet that can
population
say
densities, and
I
it's
have a
benefited
custom
from
build by
migration
Bearded Broom in
patterns
my
and
own
allocation
personal
of
city.
multiple sites. So again,
Yo,
I'm
actually,
impressed with how solid it is today,
sorry,
and
y'all.
It truly is a miracle that so much of it was built so quickly for the Olympics.
Of course, none of this matters if we don't learn from it. And a huge part of this European series I'm making is to share lessons and stories that other cities can take inspiration from.
Let's
So
go.
that
Shout
in
out Bearded
comparison
Brune.
today,
Yes. All right.
2028
I'm going to get building. What we're going to do, all of this is going to be our like
Despite having public
uptown,
transportation that's better than you'd
midtown,
expect,
downtown,
governance in LA
port
remains fragmented
areas,
and often chaotic. LA Metro
business
does the bulk of
resort
the growth,
areas
but
over
many
here,
projects have the
Daddios. All
contained,
right,
often
that's
divergent
my
city
life.
or state
And maybe we
priorities,
even
and
do
a
the
swarm
port
of other
on this
agencies.
side
So
over
the
here
2028
to
Olympics
use,
has
or
given
over
LA an
here we
incredible
drag out some
opportunity to
land.
shape
That's what I'm
things up
seeing.
with a clear
All
goal
right,
and deadline.
so
And they sort of have, launching a very ambitious initiative to deliver
one,
28
I'm
new
so
transit
happy I
projects
have
by
another city.
2028.
Two, this
Which honestly
city's
is a pretty
actually
cool name.
costs money.
Unfortunately, they might
We're
not be
barely
taking full
making money right
advantage of
now.
this.
Oh, we
28
gotta
by
actually
28
play
has
this
been
fucking
widely
game.
scaled back,
All right,
with
let's
11
go.
projects having
We're
their
locked
opening
in.
dates delayed until after the
We're
Olympics,
locked
like
the
the
fuck in.
Southeast Gateway
Okay.
line. This isn't fatal
Let's see
in
what we have.
isolation because LA has already gotten a ton of value from the projects that have survived and been accelerated.
Let's go
But I think that
education
this could end
first.
up being a huge missed
We
opportunity
need
to
one
introduce
more
durable,
school.
long-lasting improvements,
We have
especially with
255
governance. A
eligible.
key initiative so far has been the creation of
We have
the
only
Games Mobility
190
Executives, or
capacity.
GME. This
We
working
need a
group
high
brings together
school,
leaders from key bodies
and we need
like
a
LA
college and a
Metro,
university.
the LADOT,
We're gonna do a
Caltrans to formalize
we're gonna do a high
interagency
school.
collaboration and cut across existing silos.
I think a high school
Sound
makes
familiar?
sense.
The GME is apparently working decently well,
Right?
with clear
And
coordination
then
for
I
governance,
think-
planning, project delivery, and all that stuff. Something that hasn't historically been brought under one
Give me
roof.
1
But
second.
this is exactly the sort of initiative that can so easily
I
fade
also
away with
don't
the
know
games.
why my
The GME
colors
is already
changed.
only intended to be a
I
games
could have sworn I
setup, which
switched
makes
them
sense,
back,
but there are
and
no
to be
firm
honest,
plans
I
to
don't think
maintain
they're
this
switched back.
coordination.
Hold on.
This might end up mirroring what happened in Athens, or even LA itself, after it
dark
successfully
orange,
implemented, then rolled back a ton
legacy,
of bus-related
yes,
initiatives the last time it hosted the Olympics. At least the GME are saying the right things, like how the games will leave a permanent legacy, or how it'll be a catalyst for long-term transformation.
Hold up,
So
no.
maybe we just have to wait and see.
In my opinion, the durability of
My
any
bad,
of
y'all.
this depends less on individual
What the fuck
statements
was
and
that
more on the
mod?
strength of the underlying multi-level governance arrangements.
Do
that
anybody
shape these
remember the name
initiatives.
of that
And maybe
mod
that's the real lesson from
that
Athens.
switches
It's
the
always
light
possible to get
for,
things
like-
done, but it's a completely different game to try and make it last.
Is it toggle
Thanks for
over?
watching.
Yes, it is toggle overlay. Yes. Maybe I gotta reload the save? I don't want to reload the save. I'm gonna reload this. No. Or should I save it? So wait a second. Wait a second. New Marketo. Overwrite. No. Yes. All right. Cool. Now I think I want one more. I need one more education video, or do we bump with some music? I think we bump with some music. Hold on. Did we watch this? No, this is the one. Okay, yes.
Comes every 2 minutes, and the city managed to build
So
it
jealous.
for free. At least in
So
theory.
jealous.
Because back in the 1980s, Copenhagen was broke.
It was actually almost bankrupt.
So there was a lot of problems with crime, drugs, and the city was not considered attractive.
So the Danish government took a huge gamble by building an entirely new business district and using the profits from that to finance a new metro.
Okay.
All without any taxpayer money.
And it's been a
No
huge
way.
success in many ways.
Yo,
Copenhagen
bud,
was
what's
one of the most
good, dude?
attractive cities, thanks largely to these
You know what, bro?
developments and the metro.
I got you
But before we
tomorrow.
rush to copy this everywhere,
I'm gonna
we
do
have
at
to
least
understand that this is neither
50
easy nor
curls
perfect.
just to show you that I'm doing something. I'll DM you on Discord.
It's like, what else do you do?
This is the first of 6 European cities I'm covering to learn how to build better transit.
So today,
Okay.
we'll explain the strategy behind this insane gamble, see why it almost didn't happen, and finally reveal 3 things that
There
other
we
cities
go.
should
Yes,
take note of.
no,
Because
it's not.
Copenhagen
It's
has
bad.
pulled off something
I think
truly
they switched the colors. I don't like the way they switched the colors.
Let's pick up in 1947, when Copenhagen decided to guide
All
their
right.
post-war
It
growth
seems like there's a
by
lot of
adopting the
oil
famous
offshore
finger plan.
that I should take advantage of.
Development would be concentrated
So,
along
let's
radial
do this
fingers
real
extending
quick.
from the
What
city
we're gonna
center
do
in order to
is-
control sprawl and preserve green space. These fingers could then be efficiently served by suburban rail.
The problem was that these suburbs were
gonna do
especially
that.
attractive to young families sick of small apartments or wealthy individuals looking for a higher
And
quality of life
I'm
outside
going
of
to
the city.
do
And as they
this.
left, so did their tax
Specialized
dollars.
industry.
At the same time, the
We're
manufacturing
gonna
and
do
shipping
oil
industries were leaving the city,
drilling.
further sapping economic
Oh,
and social
I don't
activity.
have it
I
yet.
moved to Copenhagen when I was in my 20s.
Oh, I
It
just
was a
need
bleak
water
city.
node.
Karsten is the
Water
architecture
node.
editor at the Danish newspaper
We need a
Politiken,
water
and has
node.
written
Water
extensively
node.
about the city's
We
evolution
just
and
need
this
a
whole
water
development
node.
model.
A
So a
water
huge thank you
node.
to him for taking the time to meet with me. Anyway, Copenhagen was mired in a vicious
Okay.
cycle. From the mid-60s to the late 70s,
go
the
back
city
here.
lost over 10,000 residents every year, shrinking the tax base even
Wait.
further.
So by the late
Progression
1980s,
node
unemployment
water.
had climbed to over 17%, and the city
I'm
was on
so
the verge of
confused. What the
bankruptcy.
fuck does that mean?
Something had to change. What happened first sounds stupid. What happened first
Hold
sounds
on.
boring, but was absolutely
Hold on.
critical.
Hold
the
on.
national and
Hold on.
municipal governments decided to fix Copenhagen
Progression node
by working
water.
together.
They looked at Copenhagen to be
do
the
you mean
kind of
this?
locomotive for the entire country.
Oh,
So if we
you
invest a
meant
lot
that?
in
No.
infrastructure in Copenhagen,
Yes.
then it will lift all of
But the
Yes.
decision to invest
Alright,
in Copenhagen
Darius,
was also
we're gonna
geopolitical.
offshore
The
drill.
fall of the Iron Curtain and the entry of Sweden and Finland into the EU suddenly placed Copenhagen in a far more central location, perfect for taking advantage of new trade and cultural flows.
So in the early 90s, the Danish parliament approved 5 mega projects that would revitalize Copenhagen
Let me
with
see
world-class
something.
infrastructure, including the Ørested development, the Øresund fixed link to Sweden, and a
Let's do
mysterious
this
new
real
public
quick.
transportation system for the city center.
A series of state-owned companies were set up to carry out these projects, headlined by the Ørested Development Corporation, which I can't pronounce
Okay.
properly, so I'm just going to call it the
Well,
ODC. Ownership was split
the
nearly
ODC.
equally between the municipality
That's
of Copenhagen
crazy,
and the
bro.
Danish
That sounds like
Ministry
a
of
rap
Finance,
group.
and their job was to deliver 2 of those 5 mega projects. The first was to create a new urban district called Ørested on former military land that the state
Alright.
could just easily
We like
transfer
that.
to the
We like a
ODC.
nice
This would let
recycle.
the ODC develop and benefit from valuable commercial real estate, which was strategically located between the city, airport, and the new Øresund link to Sweden. The second was to simultaneously build a new public transport system to serve Ørested and the rest of the city.
Sorry,
further
I'm trying to
increasing the
get this
value of the
thing
ODC's
in the
own
middle,
development
bro.
here and allowing them to pay for that transport system, supposedly at no cost to taxpayers. But to the ODC's credit, this setup made a lot of sense. Given that some form of development was likely necessary to revitalize Copenhagen anyway, this method captured those land value increases and funneled
How
them
did it
back
capture
into
it?
other public infrastructure, instead of just giving it away to the private sector. And I'm grateful to have Dr. Mike Harris to explain. He's conducted some great research on urban policy and large-scale infrastructure delivery, including on Copenhagen.
There's many cases that you can point to where public land is sold and then developer has the responsibility of subdividing. It's almost like they buy it at wholesale price, they sell it lot by lot at retail price, they get the money.
In the meantime, the ODC got to work. They held an international design competition to produce a spicy master plan for the area, which was finalized in 1997, with construction beginning soon after that.
The development area
Sounds
was
like some
as
shady
unnaturally
ass
shaped
shit,
as
bro.
you can possibly imagine. A 600-meter by 5-kilometer rectangle on the edge of a protected wildlife zone.
Are we like protected wildlife?
But equally peculiar was the new public transport system that would be built, because it wasn't a tram, so common across Europe,
wasn't a
or even
tram.
a traditional metro like in other Nordic countries. Copenhagen would instead build a fully driverless mini metro, like each train only carries 300 people kind of mini. That's basically the same amount as this tram. Even already small Paris metro trains like this one can carry close to 600 passengers.
It was the most expensive model that they chose. It's kind of a Rolls-Royce model, and it's very nice, but it doesn't get very far because
That's
it's
so
expensive.
fucked
But
up.
despite higher construction costs,
That's
the
so
mini metro was
fucked
chosen
up.
primarily because of its operational strengths.
It would cost less to run because no drivers were needed, offer flexible system capacity because of the ability to easily manipulate headways, and apparently, because it also looked modern, would help Copenhagen's branding and drive higher ticket sales. Or maybe they were also inspired by the DLR. Either way, this was a truly innovative
I'm so
approach at the time,
confused.
and it fit well with some of Copenhagen's other forward-looking initiatives.
This was also in many ways the start of the bike culture in Copenhagen. It was the start of also removing on-ground parking.
And this is Christian.
Okay,
He spent close to 20 years
we
at the
can go off
hugely
on that.
influential architectural firm Gale to help directly shape Copenhagen's evolution. He knows a lot about the history of the city and shared how, despite the challenges of the 80s, a lot of good was starting to happen.
I think it was 71, there was a proposal to bring in a elevated high-speed, like a highway through the city center of Copenhagen. There was huge citizen rejection of this. Denmark has always had a democracy with a lot of room for demonstrations, these kind of things. These are all sort of elements in why Copenhagen is where it is today, you can say.
And in October 2002, the first parts
How
of the
did I
M1
mess that
and
up?
M2
That is,
lines
I know I'm
finally opened
high,
to the
but
public.
I'm
It
not
didn't
like
actually
that
go
high.
that far yet, but an extension to the west was opened 1 year later, and firm plans were made to connect the system to the airport. Unfortunately, as those extensions progressed, and as Ørested began to take shape, problems began to appear. The main
What was
issue
those
was that
problems?
costs were higher than expected, because costs are always higher than expected.
There are a lot of apartments out here, but it's not really useful for living in for me.
Not only did the metro's budget explode from 5.2 billion kroner to 12.3 billion by 2005, but ridership was poor. The section in the city center between Frederiksberg and Christianshavn was well used, but not many people wanted to go to a still empty Ørested, dragging down overall revenue and hurting the ODC's ability to service their debt.
You get very, very quickly away from it, but nothing holds you there, and that's a problem.
This meant that the finances
I
of the
guess
actual
it's a
land
problem, but
development
like
were also falling
it's
apart.
only a problem
The
if
area
you're
was
making it
originally
a problem,
envisioned
dude.
as a global business hub when it was planned in the 90s, supported by high demand for commercial real estate at the time. But now, the ODC was having trouble attracting those international companies. This was partly due to the post-9/11 business slump, but ironically also due to competition with other redevelopment areas in Copenhagen.
Lauren, how art thou? How art thou? I am doing super well.
More detail in a full write-up on
Maya, the missus is
This
asleep.
matters because even with government
babes, are you
backing,
up?
at some point you still
can be
need
up, you
cash,
sure?
and the
Can
ODC
you roll
got
us
to a
a blunt?
point where they were desperate.
So
All
in
right, wait,
2004,
Maya. The missus
they struck a
says she
deal
can
with a
roll us
Norwegian
one.
investor
We're
to
scrolling up as
construct
well.
the Field shopping mall, which contains my second favorite Danish company of all time.
What's
This
your
brought an
Danish company?
instant infusion of cash to the project and kept the whole thing afloat. But do you see anything wrong with this?
Yeah,
No.
it's a box. In a country that really doesn't like this kind of thing. The national government even had to make a specific exemption to allow this to get built. Many saw this inward-looking American mall as a physical manifestation of everything wrong with the approach of Ørsted and the metro. It made life difficult for local businesses looking to move in, so most commercial activity ended up concentrated in one single spot, which meant that the area was far more monofunctional and uninviting than originally intended. Christian contrasts this to other parts of Copenhagen and explains how planners and politicians came to realize the downsides of this approach.
I think we have a good culture for evaluation.
Let's hit play.
I used to be a partner at Gillock.
This is working out well. I want to come up in here and I want to add some more row housing right about here. But I want this. Oh, can I connect this and this makes sense?
The numbers not quite right, but as I recall it, on a sunny day they would have 8,000 people going from the metro station into the shopping. And he had then a similar public space in the heart of Copenhagen, where he said the total number of people is the same, so it's also 8,000 people. Then they counted how people were spending time. The difference is, in the city center, you would always have 200 to 300 people enjoying life because of the quality of the space. Whereas the site in Ørsted, you would have 15, 20 people at the most, and they would be running from the metro to the shopping mall. And of course that has to do with the quality of spaces, it has to do with the
all right, beautiful.
It's also a little bit about what kind of city we
want
to have.
Maya, it's way too late for that. The missus is already, she's locked the fuck in.
The city and so on. It's a different kind of approach we need.
And you have to remember that the ODC was
yo,
still a new organization.
damn, I forgot
trying to figure out
Shockbot
how
doesn't
to
work
do
with a
all of
voice.
this. And because a significant
And I ain't got
portion
time
of the
to
metro
type.
was built first, then financed by developments that came afterwards, there was a certain degree of pressure to get those developments done quickly to pay the bills. That being said,
if
some
there's
public
any daddy
opposition
watching
was
on
still
YouTube,
valid,
give the
because
video a
underlying
like,
all of
help
this
my
was
shit.
what
You
seemed
already
like
know the
a
vibes.
slightly
Appreciate
undemocratic
you.
use of public land, because the ODC
Alright.
was owned by the government but operated like a private company, intentionally shielding
Come
it
over
from day-to-day
here.
politics.
It was made to be outside democratic control, and it was important because back in the 70s, 80s, there was so much resistance against all kind of development, so nothing happened. So it was
There we
at that
go.
time needed to make it possible for anybody to invest in Copenhagen. You need to have some kind of secure.
And I'm but a little leaf on it.
decisions were not
Aww.
over every 4 years.
Shock.
That was, I guess, an
Shock
idea, but
bot.
it's also
That was
has,
cute.
Of course, the flip side.
And this raises the tricky dilemma between efficiency and democracy that extends
Let me
far
see.
beyond the
What can I
Copenhagen
do
metro.
over here?
The tricky thing with really large projects is how you actually get genuine democratic input, because how do you actually do it? Do you go to a referendum? And then you have to ask the question, how informed is the community? Does it become a weird kind of politicized process where you've got different agendas competing for different viewpoints? It is genuinely hard to get good community consultation in small projects, let
All
alone
right,
big
that's
kind of
fine.
city
I think
shaping
that'd be
projects.
fine. Yeah.
But let's take a step back. By the mid-2000s,
Yeah,
Copenhagen
alright,
had poured
that's
around
cool.
$2.5 billion and over
That's
a decade of effort into this
honestly,
project. But the model just didn't
there's
seem
a
to be working.
part of me
This
that
wasn't
if
that
I
surprising.
grid this,
Some
I think it'd
academics
be
would later
much
say
better.
that the most important feature of this
So,
financing
hold on, we're
arrangement
gonna
was
do this.
political, i.e. it was never about
We're
the
gonna
actual
do
money,
this.
but
This
about
is what we're
framing the
gonna do.
project in a way that was politically palatable.
Whatever the initial goals were, it almost didn't matter anymore. What mattered
It
was
didn't
that
matter?
Copenhagen
You
had
sure?
gone all in. And now, they couldn't go back.
With this context, the ODC began addressing these issues through a bold reorganization in 2007.
I think there's two things about this. It's the institutional structure, but also the
Alright,
institutional
and then-
culture.
First, the ODC merged with the Port of Copenhagen to form City and Port Development. Then an organization was split off to handle all metro-related activities, which I will refer to as the Metro Company, because there is no way that I will ever pronounce this correctly. And this is Jan, a really cool subscriber who works at the Metro Company as a data engineer.
Let me see
he reached
something
out to
real
me
quick.
through my Google form and was kind enough to show me around Copenhagen in
That's
the rain.
so sweet.
Anyway, this reorganization
I'm
may
so
or may
glad
not
you
have
didn't
been
get
done to
abducted,
restructure some debt,
abducted,
but the big
dude.
benefit was that the government could consider their real estate portfolio more holistically. Individual redevelopment
Hold up.
plots wouldn't
I
have to
wanna
compete
take that
openly with
off.
other publicly owned areas, or
I
internally
wanna
if ownership was split across multiple
take
departments. Development could therefore theoretically be better tailored to what Copenhagen needed, instead of only to attract tenants. And by splitting off the metro, the government could use this land development financing model for non-metro infrastructure projects, unlike in Hong Kong, for example, where the MTR's development arm is only used for rail-related property, which is honestly okay in Hong Kong, because everything is rail-related anyway. In any case, this realignment meant that there didn't need to be a new development corporation for every plot of land. It would all be under City and Port, allowing them to retain the critical expertise and culture
why is
that
it
we
giving
talk
me a
about
bike
so much
lane?
on this
I don't
channel.
want a fucking
you can
bike
kind of
lane.
set up all these legislative requirements and processes, but at the end of the day, they can change by the next government. But Denmark is interesting because they just have this
I don't know why that's not
consistency
fixing. It
kind of
makes me
built into
scared
their
that this
political
won't
culture
save.
that I haven't really seen anywhere else, to be honest. The people that are at the top
Arigato,
of these organizations are
arigato.
people that have the experience
All right,
working
so
within
let's
government
come over here.
organizations for their whole lives. So they
Let's get
have
rid
really
of these
deep
trees,
institutional
and we're
knowledge.
gonna add
They
some more
respect the
row
planning
housing.
process, and this is another thing that is really interesting coming from somewhere like Australia and potentially North America is they're true believers.
And if you stick around to the end of this video, we'll go through exactly how North America can learn from this.
Anyway, this new setup was immediately put to the test, because Copenhagen
How was it put
needed
to
to
the test?
expand their metro.
By 2007, the system had actually grown quite popular, but was still limited by the fact that it didn't really serve the old town, and it didn't even connect to the central station. So a
That
proposal was
sucks.
made for a circle line that would finally bring the city center into the metro network. And
Base.
despite ongoing challenges with Ørsted, a metro expansion presented an enticing opportunity to develop more land, make more money,
That is true.
and help finance some of that expansion.
But since this project went underneath the existing city, City and Port couldn't do their whole development and land
Alright,
value capture thing
cool.
around the actual line. They needed another
If
empty
I was
plot
to
of
do
land.
commercial,
Luckily
I'll
for
do
them,
commercial
there's
on
a place
this
in
end.
Copenhagen
Maybe we do
called
mixed
North
use.
Harbor.
North Harbor is, I think, much better. They learned a lot from the mistakes in Ørsted.
North Harbor had once been a major part of Copenhagen's trade and commercial activity
Let's
back
go
in the early
mix.
20th century, but
Let's
it had
go
declined
North
severely by the
American.
year 2000, along with the rest of the city's industry. The good news was that the area was already owned by the government, which meant that North Harbor was simply transferred to City and Port. They could then unleash their new
Hold
model,
on, let me
which
make sure
is
I'm
pretty
doing this
simple on
right.
paper. First, the government would transfer old land to City and Port. Then the local government would rezone that land for residential and commercial use.
I don't
magically
think I'm doing
increasing
this
its
right.
value. City and Port would then borrow money based on the increased value of that
Do we
land,
wanna put a
and at
parking
low
road or a
interest rates
pedestrian
because they're
road
backed
here?
by the government. That capital
There's
is
a
then used
part
either
of me-
directly for development or transferred to other organizations for infrastructure, like the Metro Company to build the metro. Finally, City and Port develops that land, then uses the revenue from sales or leases to service the debt that they took on earlier.
So there you go, a brand new metro and snazzy new neighborhoods with $7 cinnamon rolls. Using this process and armed with rights to
Let's
develop
go
North Harbor,
here.
City and Port borrowed around $2 billion and
Mixed-use
transferred it in one go to
buildings.
the Metro Company, allowing them to build the City Circle line.
A quick disclaimer, I actually have conflicting sources on the amount that City and
All
Port
right.
contributed to the
What
City
do I
Circle
wanna
line,
put over
or
here?
M3. Some researchers
Bookshop
estimate that
here.
nearly $6 billion from land
Do I
value
wanna do
increases were
EE?
channeled towards the metro, but it's a bit murky because the M3 was heavily tied to the M4 that actually served North Harbor, and that project was clearly financed by City and Port, so it's difficult to isolate how much went to the M3. What I can say confidently is that North Harbor contributed something to the M3, whether by
I
generating
don't think
trips
this would
that
be
feed
bad
the
for like
ridership
a nice little
surcharge that nobody
midtown
likes,
area.
or directly with cash transfers. Anyway,
With North Harbor, City and Port quite admirably began learning from their mistakes.
starting at ground level, City and Port included in their contracts
Alright,
a
let me
clause
see
that allowed them to immediately buy
No.
back the ground floor of new developments. This let them curate a more vibrant street-level experience consistent with what people loved about the old
No,
town, which
I don't
means
want
things
it to
like
block
avoiding large
that
chains
just yet.
and instead having places with $12 matcha.
In some of the historical buildings, they introduce 18 square meter
Let me see
retail units.
here.
And this is interesting, of course, because sometimes we want these
Come on,
small
where-
programs that we know from historical city centers, but they normally have a hard time finding a space in these new developments because units might be bigger at the ground floor, these kind of things.
So intentionally offering small
Alright.
unit sizes with lower total rent provides a practical way to actually get local businesses into North Harbor.
Because the unit size is simply smaller, you can be there even though if you're an independent coffee roaster or a small wine shop or these kind
Alright,
of things.
I'm
North
so
Harbor
sorry
is
about that,
intentionally
y'all.
being developed
Let's see
quarter
here.
by
What's that
quarter to
left?
let the area mature organically. Around 6,000 residents have moved in, been on track with projections, and from what I gather, City and Port have figured out the formula. North Harbor is well connected, has impressive amenities, and takes full advantage of an absolutely stunning location, all wrapped around thoughtful design.
They also have this rooftop playground. Because why not?
Perhaps most admirably,
That's cute.
Udestel itself began to address its own criticisms. Smaller development plots were introduced to encourage organic growth, along with a greater importance on residential and cultural amenities.
There were researchers addressing this, there were people questioning this, there was different aspects of evaluation, and City and Harbor of course took this in, because at the end of the day we also know that it's a better business case to develop areas that actually work, that thrive, that are lively. It's something that we cherish.
All of this has resulted in an area that has evolved far beyond its initial failed reputation.
Like
all right, I think right about
it's very close to the
let's
nature.
add on
You have
anarchy.
and Ammerfeld right next to it, and then you're still close to the city because it takes 10 minutes per metro. There's lots of apartments there. Most of them they're also pretty spacious, and at least for a while they were also more affordable than the city center.
One thing I had to keep in mind when researching this video was that there's a huge selection bias regarding negative coverage of Udestel. Even things like the Fields shopping mall. I stayed near it so I could walk around at different times of day, on weekdays and weekends, and I saw a ton of people just enjoying themselves here, especially on a grey, rainy weekend where you don't really want to be outside.
Bro.
It might not be authentically Copenhagen, but you can't really say it's
maybe we
that
do
bad
put a
either.
park here instead. All right, let's go
how
park.
this organization has changed how they
We'll
operate
just
and
go
how they
park,
design, like how
Do
they
we have?
appreciate
I don't
design
even think we have the
planning.
money for
And in
that.
my opinion, these things just take
Shit,
time. This
we
reminds
don't
me a
have
lot
the
of
money
Hong
for it.
Kong's transit-oriented development, which I made a 40-minute video on, so you should go watch that. And in that story, we saw how the MTR slowly built up their development capabilities over multiple projects. And it took them close to 20 years before embarking on a highly integrated commercial residential project like West Kowloon. Whereas Copenhagen debatably jumped straight to that as their first project with Udestel.
Let's get some
It'd be
zoning
surprising
right
if they
here.
didn't run into any issues.
Let's
It's at
historical
this point
this
that we have to
building.
address some core
And then
concerns
to
of the
be
model itself
honest,
that
I like
debatably
this
no
building.
amount of success can fix.
The key concern I see is that once again, you have public infrastructure being driven by a body that does not necessarily represent the public interest. One outcome is that new development areas are just unaffordable to most people. North Harbor is literally
we'll line
Denmark's
that
most
up.
expensive zip code. Copenhagen does have stronger affordable housing requirements than many cities, but this non-public interest shows up in other ways. When Udestel ran over budget, for example,
Here we
the
go.
ODC was in a sense forced to capitulate to the Fields shopping mall and scrap other plans for a more livable downtown. Then there are the additional surcharges for transit pass holders to use the metro. This was part of the financing for the M3, and while it isn't directly related to city and port, it could be argued that tying the metro to such strong market goals leads to solutions that once again price out certain segments of the population.
Do we hold
it's clear
off
that
there
the model
then?
has worked wonders
Or
to
do we
achieve
work
those
more
original
with this
goals
one?
of revitalizing
I
Copenhagen
like-
and delivering a remarkable
know,
metro
bro.
system.
I really
but it's
like
natural
this
to
building.
ask, how far can this go? Does Copenhagen need to develop new land every time the city needs new public infrastructure?
It's almost like they're addicted to this model now. It's like, what
Yeah,
else do you do?
I
Especially
do
when
know
you've
what
got
these
so
people
much
are talking
government
about right now.
land. I mean, that is basically
When you give
just
somebody the
cleanest way
reward
to
so much,
continually build more,
they start to
fund
feel
more
that they're
infrastructure for the
vindicated
city
in that
because
reward,
they've
and
worked
as
out this
if
model
what
where they
they're
can just
saying is
develop
their
land
word
or
is
create
bond.
land and fund all this infrastructure. And cities really struggle with that. Like, where do you come up with billions of dollars to build a metro line? You know, if you don't want to have it as a privately run entity, the money's got to come from somewhere.
This is the exact dilemma surrounding the very controversial Lynetteholm. City and Port's latest project is to create an entirely new island, both for more development, but also as a flood protection barrier to protect the city. Once again, the idea is that Lynetteholm will pay for itself and contribute to a new M5 metro line, but not everyone is on board. The project will risk disturbing vulnerable marine ecosystems.
I don't know,
while
bro.
The finances have
I
shown cracks
think
in various probes.
I mean, my position is that the Copenhagen model has been a resounding success.
All right,
but
this is what I think
what
I
happens
want to
after
do.
Lynetteholm? Do they
We're
keep
gonna
doing
just
this, or
put
do they have to
brownstones
stop at some
here.
point?
But since this is a video that's supposed
That's-
to be about
yeah,
the
we're gonna
metro,
zone
let's start
those
wrapping this
out,
up by appreciating the
and
actual
we're gonna
system,
call it a day.
because it is truly
We
impressive.
could also
The
do
system
some
carries
gable
a
roof
very
housing,
respectable 350-ish thousand
we don't have
passengers
any
every day,
medium
a bit
density
over
left.
10% of the amount carried by the London Underground. for a far smaller population.
I'll try
catchment
that. We
area.
can treat
And
this
they're one
as
of the
row
few
housing.
systems globally to turn an operating profit, meaning that they don't require regular government subsidies. The engineering is also quite innovative. Stations were built closer to ground level, which reduces material use, especially concrete, both for environment and cost reasons. And station designs were heavily standardized with a kit of parts to reduce costs further, but
kit of
intentionally
parts.
leaving room for a little bit of architectural creativity. And the entire system achieved 24/7 service in 2009,
That's actually pretty
which
fire.
very few systems have achieved across the world. This is just one of the
Alright, so
many
we're
things
good
that really makes the
there.
network feel world-class. And I think it helps
And
make
I think for
Copenhagen
this building
a truly
here,
delightful
we
city.
will...
And finally, what can other cities learn from this experiment? I've come up with 3 learnings that I'll explain through the context of 2 examples in North America.
In 2016, the founder of Under Armour unveiled a plan to turn part of Baltimore's industrial waterfront into a commercial, retail, and residential district called the Baltimore Peninsula. Just like Ørsted, it was pitched as a way to bring investment and jobs back to a struggling city. Baltimore was dealing with significant urban decay, exacerbated by the death of Freddie Gray and subsequent protests against police brutality, which somehow gave us this Orioles game with no fans.
Jones will whack the son of a gun to center field.
But unlike Ørsted, the peninsula has really struggled. Less than 20%
Do
of
that.
the original square footage has been delivered,
Chipengro!
and the original investment firm exited the project in 2025. A key reason has been the complete lack of public transport connectivity, despite plans to extend light rail to the area. Responsibility for transport and land development seems to be split across different authorities, so nobody is in charge of
and then
making sure
grab
things
this
work
building
together.
here.
The result is that the main way to reach the peninsula is by car, sapping the area of pedestrians and street-level activity.
So our first lesson is that Copenhagen had genuine compromise and collaboration, both vertically, between different levels of government, and horizontally, between public, private,
So I
and
want
civic
the
actors.
hedge to be here. It has to be. Alright, cool. I can deal with that, Daniels.
Halifax
I
also
honestly
has a
can deal with
ton
that. That's
of
not too bad
underutilized
of an
waterfront
issue.
land.
All
We're
right.
actually in the midst of redeveloping several enormous
We
publicly owned
may
sites
do.
like
I
the
like
Cogswell
I
District
like
and
this
Shannon
color,
Park.
right?
This
Can I
should
get
help
this
the city
color?
better manage its impressive growth. Halifax population has exploded since
Thank
COVID, which has also
you.
caused horrible traffic, because the only transit being planned is a bus rapid
Right.
transit system that still hasn't been built. But these waterfront projects are largely treated as standalone developments,
then
not as
here
part of a
we
unified
will-
city building strategy.
The coordination that you find in the Copenhagen model is really remarkable, that they consolidate all this land
All
that is
right,
owned
we
by
will
different agencies so that it can be managed by one
Probably
organization
this.
to phase it, to make sure that all the money that gets extracted, the value that's being generated out of
We will
developing
do
government-owned
something
land is
like-
going into public infrastructure.
So that's our second lesson. Copenhagen
Okay.
intentionally designed their institutions to maximize their odds of success.
Okay.
They can bundle valuable land assets, operate
Alright,
efficiently,
that's
and be
beautiful.
insulated from day-to-day politics,
zoning.
all while retaining some degree
We
of
don't tell
democratic
booty
oversight.
addict.
In both cases,
Now,
project
over
financing tends to be
here,
quite
I
traditional.
think I
There
wanna
isn't
add
much
more
creativity
shop.
with taking advantage of radical
What was
transportation
it? That was
upgrades
the
to form a
bites,
core
that
part
was
of the redevelopment.
that.
Like Halifax is still talking about transport upgrades as a budget burden, not as a potential cornerstone of a city-defining project.
All right,
That's our final
I'm a
lesson.
little bit
This model
confused
can unlock
as to
cheap
wait.
capital
One,
through
how do I
government
want to lay
involvement
this
and
out?
alignment with the
To
correct
Maya,
bodies,
we're gonna
like
scroll
pension
up
funds,
right now.
looking
Let
for
me know.
long-term, low-risk infrastructure investments.
Wait,
It
you
almost reminds
couldn't?
you of another
Oh,
city.
let's go.
You
Was
can imagine
that
a
the
world where
name?
Baltimore
Praise
and
to
Halifax
Spark.
use their
I'm not
consistent
sure.
development goals to also deliver modern public transit. Both
All
these
right,
cities already have the physical
let's
land
do one
assets,
thing
the
real
kind
quick.
that money cannot buy.
Let me
They just need
take
the
off my
institutions,
camera.
political will, and financing to make it happen.
If
Let
you've
me
made it this
pull
far in the
up
video,
there.
I'll
I
give
did
you a
make it this
prize by
far.
explaining what I'm actually doing for the next year. As some of you may know already, I now study transport and urban planning policy at ETH Zurich. And I've actually had the privilege of meeting some of you already. So if you're around, definitely reach out. Anyway, this video is the first of 6 European cities that I'm covering.
This
The
is so
series
dope.
on
I am
how to build
honestly
better
pretty
transit.
excited
And because I
about
want
his
these
little
learnings
series
to be
right now.
applicable to any city,
Let's
no
hit
matter
play.
how established their existing transit is,
I'm
these 6
going
cities
to
will cover
get
the whole
some
spectrum
housing
from
up in
how to build a
here,
brand
or
new
maybe a
system,
parking
which is
lot.
Copenhagen, all the way through to how to improve a very well-used and mature system. And you can probably guess what city that's going to be.
Oh my mod. Yeah, NZ Shock. Yes. Shock, not Spark. Shock.
Full write-up on my Substack. And if you're wondering why I still
No,
care so
I
much
am
about
tipsy,
this,
so shipping,
it's
bro. I
because
may have been
believe
wrong.
that
Here you
change
go, babes.
is still possible.
I think what's really interesting about the city of Copenhagen is
So,
they also has said, as we
Let's
learn,
do
we
this.
expect the developers in the city to learn with us. So they put new requirements to developers on saying, yeah, we think mixed use is a better answer. We want active ground floors. We're going to ask for that in our regulative plans, which is, of course, something that challenges business as usual. Also, at the end of the day, create value. But there is, of course, sort of a lead that needs to be done there. But I think it is simply being good to people. That's the starting point.
Yes, always be good to people, Daddios. Alright, I like that. That was a cute video. Alright, so this is now what we're going to do. YouTube fam, look. I need some music or I will go to sleep. It's just the way I am. I need the bass. I need the beats. I need the love. I need the energy. But because y'all are not on Twitch, y'all don't get to listen to the real music. So I'm going to put some master plan music on for you guys. So let me actually do that right now. All right, so YouTube has their music. We'll take that off. We'll put that on. We will do... Hold up. Where is... That's not what I wanted. Damn, Daddy-o. All right, that worked out. Now, what I wanted to do was browser. God damn it. All right, and then what I wanted to do was home. I like how my phone just died and I had it on the charger. All right, you know what? Gang. All I wanted was a good music. Why is there's no music list? All right, I'm tired of this. Switch account.
Hey, baby, good to see you. Come on in.
Idris Elba! All right, let's get building. All right. Wow, Wolf. Wow, that's crazy. The Wolf, that's insane, Daddy-o. Right. Let's see here. Let's put a little bit of a park right here. We need more money. I can't afford anything right now, bro. Bruh. Alright. That's fine. Let's get a different surface over here, bro. Okay. Right. All right. Thank you. Yeah, I don't care as long as it's even, motherfuckers. Like, miss me with the bullshit, Daddios. Right. Alright, so let's come over here with some trizzies. Or do we want to do a bushy? I think we actually do that. I like that. Yep. I am actually fine by that. We'll leave that over there, and then over here with the passage park and everything, and then this area open. There's a part of me that wants to do a parking lot because I know we need it. I could just put parking right there. You know what? Let's try that real quick. I know it's a little bit ridiculous, but we're gonna do it, Daddy-o. We are going to go all the way down. Where is my parking garage? Oh, I need fucking money. Shit. Oh, don't do this to me, game. Don't do this to me, game. Okay. Alright, hold on. Yeah, that's much better. Alright. And then I'm so mad that it just doesn't work in reverse. Shock, I definitely did too, Daddy-o. I definitely did too. That's the one thing that breaks my heart. If there's anybody who deserved it, it would have been him, Daddy-o. Right, and then what we can do go to row houses. All right, so I'm a D in and out. All right. Oh, I can't. Oh, fuck you, game. Fuck you, game. Fuck you. What is that? 5. Copperfield. Right. Damn yawning. Alright, we have that locked in. Alright, I like that. I like this spacing much better. It feels less threatening. Cute. I actually do love that though. My playlist hitting 2K is actually wild, dude. Yo, Shockbot. Shock, can you tell Shockbot to send me his playlist? Let me see here. We can sacrifice that. We can do that. Hey. I can feel it. 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 All right. All right, Dadios. That's chill. I want this to be more of a core with some of this still being brownstones. So what I'm also going to do is come back over here. Hey. Alright. Alright. There we go. Let that play out, see what happens. I don't have that much demand. Oh, we do need that high school, right? Do we have the money for the high school? We're almost there. We just gotta wait a little bit more, Daddy-o. Which gives us more time to detail. So let's come over here. Hold up. Alright. Nah, like right about here. There we go. Alright, there we go. Add the invisible networks. Where are my invisible networks? No, wait, what the fuck? There we go. We're locked the fuck back in. Alright, yes sir, yes sir. Alright. Yo, no, unfortunately, bud, I can't get into that city. I'm having so many issues. I'm actually hoping that this one doesn't get fucked up either, dude. Right. I'm gonna speed this up so we can make some money. Right. Okay. Let me see something real quick. Let's go fishies. Where's the fishies? Alright. 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 So for this, I'm going to want to do... Wait, did I make another oil one? I know I'm high, but I'm not that. I'm high. I am so fucking high. That's actually fucking insane. Alright, let me do something like this. Something like that. Something like this. Right. No, that's too long. Hold on. Let's try this one more time. Okay, we will come over here. Right. Something like that. Not like that. Right. Right. Yes, sir. Alright. Right. Okay, Daddy-Os. So. I don't know how I feel about this. Let me see. We need to make a route to the sea, right? Right. Right. All right. All right. This is how I'm gonna want this to be done. Like this. Can I get a 90 on that, please? You're an awesome kid. Alright, I think that's good. I don't want the connection to be replaced now. Nah, that's wild. Okay. Let's do... You know, keep it like that for right now. I'm gonna fix that. I'm going to fix that, Daddy-O. Right, come over here. We need some more creative zoning, per se. And then, honestly, like, shit happens here. We'll see how this comes out. It's two side by side. Maybe I could put some billboards or something. I don't really know, to be honest. I don't want to spill this. Alright, Adios. We do need to add that school. I think we have enough money now. Here you go. I think we have enough money now to get like a basic high school. And I only say that because I'm going to place that high school. Honestly, it would make some sense. It's not really, but it is really. Oh, I don't have the, oh, it doesn't sort them for me. Fuck me, bro. Alright, 22K, 11K. 400 students, 200, wait. 22K for 250 students, 11K for 400 students, 12K for 1,000 students. I don't have space for this at all. Hutch, I tried, just know. Alright, let me see if I can fit this anywhere. Kinda, sort of. Yes, sir. Alright. Yo. Yeah, I think that works out beautifully. Do we wanna? What's this? Take off snapping. All right. Let me see here. No, that's not gonna work. All right. So I like the school here. Liking where this vibes is going. Let's just get some more houses over here. I gotta see this filled in. I gotta feel like it's Brooklyn. You feel me? Here. Right? And let's come over here. I am so tipsy right now, Dadios. Y'all do not even know the half of it. I may have to conk out soon, to be honest. That's gonna be cute, just a little cute. We have some more industry and some more offices to do. Maybe I make an office park around here. Or honestly, an office park does sound good mostly in this general facility. So I think for this general facility, let's go with yeah, let's go with this definition. I like this one. Alright. So what I think we want to do, we have the school in. We do need a high school as well. Alright, but we got that school in. We'll chill with that. Let's go back to adding housing, because that's going to give us the most profit. Alright, and then let me see here. I did not actually want that to be the case. Alright. Yeah, that's some function. Alright. And then over here. Alright. I am this is what I'm gonna do. I think over here. Yo, Daddy-O 07, Daddy-O 07. I'm honestly probably gonna call it an early night as well, because I am I'm on one right now. I had a hard day at work. And it wasn't like hard, like, oh, sweltering or whatever, but it was a good long fucking day, dude. Ooh. Let's see something. What can I get over here? Right. Right. Okay. Let's go Idris. Idris. That's his name, Idris. Let's go back. Can you just like go to the thing that you're supposed to be? Oh god, I don't know what happened to that feature. It was here. Alright. Oh, I think I know what it was. Okay. Alright. Okay. There we go. Beautiful. I think we can make one more block up here, because that'll be a long ass block, dude. So, we'll be back. I wanna go grab this. Alright. No, don't fuck my shit. Okay. This is a little bit crooked. Hold on. How did I get crooked? Alright, and honestly, I'm not gonna say shit. Certain things are done on good faith because your word should be your bond. And people don't live by that, bro. Alright. Alright, let's do this. Then let's see here. Alright. Why not up right about there? Thank you. And now what I can do is alright. Alright, right here. Yes, sir. Right about here. Yeah, that works out pretty well. Now, how are we looking on money right now? Macabre, what's good, Daddy-o? Also, Shapangro, I'm glad the YouTube is a vibe for you right now, Daddy-o. Alright, so let's make these buildings historical. Did I make all of them historical? I will hope so. Okay. It seems I was smart enough to do that. Right. Alright. Let's see here. I don't want to interfere too much. Then over here it is commercial. No, this is office. So I need to actually make a parking area for them. So let's go over here. Let's go to parking. Alright, Daddy-os. No, I don't like that. Yeah, that's OD, yeah. No, wait, yes, yeah. Alright, let me see here. I don't know how I feel about that parking lot. Alright, so this is what we're gonna do. Right. Right. There you go. And then what I want to do is come into surfaces. Thank you so much, Choose. Thank you. Alright. So what I think I want to do is that's going to be one Charles human inside of the said factory. Alright, now we can keep that. I do need to fix the orientation. So let's do that. Just evoking some luxury vibes here. Even if you're going somewhere for insurance, they should be well organized. Alright. I think here. Where do they park their cars at? You back. Okay, cool. Let's see this one. Alright, 112. Fire is really... We need, yeah. Let me add a little something. There we go. Yes. Alright, Daddios. New market, just to let you guys know. Is this not what it... Oh, no, this is not. This is Brune's special build. I got lucky to have Brune build a very, very beautiful area for me. But Daddios, I am going to say right now, I'm a tad bit tired. So I'm going to make my escape. Thank y'all for tuning in. Everybody on YouTube, much love. Everybody on Twitch, let's go find somebody to raid into. Let me go see what I can do real quick. I gotta knock out, bro. Work has killed me. I will fall asleep playing this fucking game, dude. Oh, Lord! Thank you for the raid. I already found who we're raiding into, but they're not playing cities. Nobody's playing cities tonight. Lark, what's good? Daddy-o, thank you. How art thou, my friend? How you feeling, bro? Oh, did I just fucked up something. Hold on, give me 1 second. Thank you. That's what I was looking for. Yo, dude, I'm good. I'm so tired from work. And then I got a long day tomorrow as well. But, you know, we out here. We dugging it out. A little tipsy, but, you know, nothing to be afraid of. Nothing to be afraid of. Alright, they're coasting. I like this. I don't... Do we want to make a whole office plaza here? We could. Let's see here. Alright. Alright. There we go. You see how normal it is to just play a game? And even if you do some fuck shit on the internet, just do something normal. Just to keep that balance. Alright, there we go. Oh, dude, have a good night, bro. Have a fucking good night, man. Godspeed to you, dude. Godspeed to you. Let's go here. Alright. Let's see here. That's 4x4. Alright. Can you switch for me, game? My switches is not working. Okay, it is. Okay. I ain't gonna lie, I'm hella confused. Anyhow. Let me see something. I want to check one thing out. I think right here we put the park. Yes, that's what we do. So we'll go to vegetation. Wait. Oh, did this switch? No, it used to say edit. I think they cleaned it up. I don't know. Yeah, that's kind of shitty. Alright, can I make up? Yeah, I could make it. Alright. Yeah, so let's see here. We will go here. Alright. Alright, there we go. Alright. Right. Okay, Daddy-O's. So what I am thinking of right now, because I need to hit the sheets, dude. Like, the sheets are calling me. Say my name, Daddy-O. I'm gonna be honest, nobody's playing cities tonight. That's crazy. Well, you know what? I'm gonna have you guys actually. Oh, we're gonna do Cosmic. He's playing Forza. Let's come up with a Japanese city. Okay, Daddy-O's. Hold on 1 second. Yeah, I think that's the vibe. I am so... Daddy-O's, I am tired as fuck. Where is Cosmic? Where is Cosmic? There we go. There we go. Daddy-O's, have a great night. Lark, thank you for rating into me. YouTube, thank y'all so much for visiting, Daddy-O's. Y'all already know the vibes. Sorry I wasn't detailing the way I usually do. We were just chilling today, Daddy-O's. Thank you so much, Shock. Have a good morning, afternoon, and night, Daddy-O's. Also, I'm liking this, bro. Oh my god, I see the potential. Daddy-O's. Hold up. Actually, yes, let's make that the raid message. To anybody currently viewing, please copy and paste that. We are raiding into Cosmics in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
We got the